Hey, do you have a process you think needs improvement? In this video, I'm going to walk you through the very methodology I use in my consulting firm to help service businesses and agencies get to world-class processes. So follow along. And if you stick around, I'm going to show you the three main reasons why process improvement initiatives fail and how to avoid them. Let's get started. Hey, my name is Benjamin. I'm a fractional COO and operations consultant. I work with agencies and service businesses on their operations. So today I want to walk you through our methodology of how we address, resolve, and then also implement process improvements. So let's get started. The first thing we do is always start with an overview of what processes do actually exist in the company. And here's some examples from our methodology that we used and have developed over the years. First, you start with the value chain, which is, think about it as the overview of all processes that exist in your company, divided by what is supporting and what is actual value generation process. And typically you want to look at the value generating processes here at the bottom first. As you start collecting them, you'll have a pretty good sense of which ones need work, or you already have one of the list you want to work on. The next step then is mapping the process. And I have created a full YouTube video on how to map processes with a swim lane diagram. This is what you see here. You go through, map each step with the stakeholders all in one call or in one meeting, map the process, and then as you do that, collect the issues. These are all the red sticky notes that you see here. So as you go and say, Bob needs to inform Cindy that X, Y, Z happens, and then somebody will say, well, yeah, Cindy often doesn't get the email or whatever, right? So you write a red sticky note and write that down. You go through the whole process, and what you end up with is a description of the current as-is process, as well as a collection of sticky notes, basically all the issues that you need to resolve. So now what you find is that these issues typically belong to a couple of different areas. It could be either process, organization, like somebody doesn't have the skill to do something, or somebody doesn't know where it is, or there's nobody responsible for something, or also tools, right? There might be tools missing, no template, no proper tracking of, etc. Now you have clustered these key process issues by category, and what you do next is you prioritize them. And you basically say, well, how high is the impact of this being resolved, and how high do we think is the effort of resolving this, right? And so you come up with your quick wins and major projects, which are the things you want to tackle first. Now, the reality of it is, and this is what the next step does, your process issues will not have a one-to-one mapping to a solution, right? So you say, we implement a new tool that does better templates and automatic follow-up. This step alone will probably address 3 or 4 or 5 of the process issues, right? So what we do next is we map initiatives, so solutions we plan, things we want to implement, against these process issues, and basically say, well, here's all the initiatives, and then here are all the issues clustered by effort and importance, as well as the area. And then we say, well, each initiative should address obviously at least one of these issues, right? And ideally more. But what you're looking for really is that each of these issues has at least one area of coverage, right? So we're sure that these are being addressed. Next up, and this is really important, is the process improvement plan. So basically you have to take all your initiatives and manage them continuously, right? We often use simple Kanban boards, weekly meetings, assign a task to somebody, and then follow up until they're completed. And what you end up with is a revised process map. Now, as promised at the beginning, process improvement often doesn't work. And there's a couple of reasons why that's the case. First one, you don't have a clear owner per initiative. So these things, even though they just look simple and just a pretty little card on a Kanban board, these things take time. That's work. You need to have somebody that's doing the work and is responsible for completing it, right? So assign an owner to each and every process issue or initiative, and then have these people work on it and follow up. Make sure this is being done and completed, because it's not a 1 day or 1 week fix. Often takes a bit longer. Secondly, ignoring implementation. So if you think you're done at solution design, you're wrong and you will fail. When you have a solution, so basically a new process that you do, you have to at least spend, in my experience, if you have a high velocity process, 2 weeks, sometimes 3 weeks, sometimes even 2 months of iterating on, hey, here's a new process. Have you done this? Have you used this new button? Have you used this automatic follow-up? Have you triggered this? Have you done that? Have you informed why? Right? It needs constant follow-up until these new practices sit. even though you've documented them, there's a new process, everybody has been informed, but you need to accept that this is a change. You want to change, make people change the way they work, so this will take time. And ignoring that is a typical recipe for this to fail. And then thirdly, and this is the most important part, is if you do this and treat this as a one-time exercise, it's going to be a lot of work and very difficult to see through. Instead, and this is what I've been saying on all channels that I'm active on, do this in continuous incremental steps. 100 steps that are very tiny compound dramatically and are much, much bigger than something that's 100 times bigger but done once, right? So do it over time, fix everything as you spot it, use the same methodology, right? Like look at your process, identify the issue, define an initiative, assign it to somebody, follow through until it's done, and then manage the implementation. But if you make this a continuous habit in your team, in your delivery team, then you don't have these big one-time exercises that you then need to complete if something breaks, right? So these three things are typically the reasons why things fail. So if you avoid that, no clear owner, ignoring implementation, and a one-time sprint versus continuous improvement, if you avoid these three things, you'll be fine, and this will work out really, really well. If you have more questions on process improvement, feel free to reach out to me in the comments, send me a message. You find my link in the profile. And if you want more of this operations content and agency content, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.